Hi, I'm Claudine Ewing. If you live in the town of Amherst, come November, you will be voting for a new town supervisor. There are two candidates. I sat down with both of them. Joining me in studio right now is Sean Lavin, candidate for Amherst Town Supervisor. You are a Democrat.
Yes.
You're also a veteran.
Yes.
You hold another job as well. Talk to me about what you do, and unlike your opponent, you have an elected position.
Yes, so I have a couple of roles. I'm a major in the Air National Guard currently. About a year ago, as we were talking about, I went to Hurricane Helene for North Carolina to help them with some of their hurricane relief efforts. Beyond that, I work in personnel, human resources for Erie County, and I'm currently the deputy supervisor for Amherst.
Based on your background and what I've been reading and seeing and just following Amherst politics, you are all about uncovering waste and fraud. Where there is financial waste in Amherst, do you feel you've done enough? Do you feel there's more to do?
What I would say to you is I'm looking for efficiency. I don't call it waste, I call it efficiency, and that's what we're looking to do. One of the things I've talked about is we have so much data, and we need to get that data into the public's hands so they recognize the things that the Amherst municipality workers and the projects we're doing are working towards. So the money that's spent, for an example, would be all of our snowplows have GPS. I want to live in a world in which that GPS, like the city of Syracuse, your snowplows are being tracked in real time. So when you wake up in the morning, oh, did they come by my street yet? They sure did. Okay, great. I can shovel out the walk without having to reshovel it again. So being efficient with our tax dollars is really important, but also understanding how that can be better used with technology.
What needs to be changed? What have you seen so far that you feel needs to be improved?
Sure. I think just the way we use data and the way we get that data to the people in front of us. Governments are always a little bit behind, right? You can order an Uber on your phone and you can order Chili's to your front door in 2 minutes, right? We're not going to get there, but we need to get better.
Transparency is a buzzword that we hear so often. People are saying, you know, I want a transparent government. Mm-hmm. But what does transparency really mean to you? Because I know residents have talked about the budget process and feeling as if they need more, they need to see more. Do you feel that it's transparent enough right now in Amherst, or can that be better?
Well, there's always room for improvement. That goes for everything. So from a transparency perspective, about 2 years ago, I created a transparency law in the town of Amherst. And the idea was we hold budget hearings during our town board meetings, which are usually around 7 p.m., which is not also conducive for somebody who might be working second shift. So the idea was, let's give residents another opportunity to talk to the board about budgets, about their tax dollars. And we added a brand new meeting in the morning at our Amherst Senior Center. It's almost the exact same as you'd see at town board. We have chairs and we have the clerk there, and it's recorded and people can ask questions because not everybody has the availability to come. But we also allow for now a static email address for people to respond to the budget, anything they're concerned with or they want to see a different direction for. And as I say, all the board members are always available via email to have conversations.
Why do you feel that there's that group of residents in the town who have complained that things are being hidden from them or things are being, what do you say to them?
I say we post everything we have on our website. You can go to our website right now and look at just about any project the town of Amherst is doing, right? And that's 40 years ago, that wasn't the case, right? But now it is, and it's all PDF documents, and you can look up line item by line item, individual departments and salaries. And that's important, right? People need to see what we're doing and what we're working towards in the town of Amherst. So, you know, I think there might be a little bit of a lag in understanding that they can find that information. That's on us, the town board, to do better at telling them where to find it, but it's available.
You want to be the top dog, the town supervisor in Amherst.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, my life is, I'm very fortunate to be from this community in Western New York. I've been given a lot of opportunity to be in the position I am, right? A lot of people have made a lot of sacrifices. So I want to give back, right? It's part of the reason I joined the military. And I consider myself a public servant. And anything I can do to impact and make a positive change in my community, I can't think of a bigger opportunity to do that.
Taxes. Nobody likes them. Necessary.
Sure.
You saw those lawn signs, the 11.4. Will you do anything to try and lower taxes in the town?
Well, this year we have a decreased tax rate, same as we had last year. And Amherst collectively across Western New York pays the lowest tax rate with a police department as any other municipality. But at the same time, as we said earlier, it's about being efficient with those tax dollars, and that's something I plan to work towards and find efficiencies in the town government.
The town of Amherst is seeing more development, more than it's seen in a long time. Costco's coming, Station 12 is underway. What more development needs to happen, or would you like to see happen in Amherst to bring in more revenue, but something that's good, that fits the flavor for the town of Amherst?
So Station 12 exciting, Costco's exciting. Costco spring, for anybody who's listening, right, of this coming year, this construction started. The next one in front of us is the Boulevard Mall. Like other malls across the country, you know, we're not any different. We have worked and are continuing to work to find a solution to that problem. But you ask yourself, hey, there's the Boulevard Mall. People will tell me, just get it redeveloped. But you have to take into consideration the sewer infrastructure, right? Nobody was living at the mall. And the plan is, in the near future, to have a mixed-use area that's on the corner of Maple and Niagara Falls Boulevard for mixed use, for limited green space, for walkability. It's a pinch point between North and South Campus, so there could be a big student population, young professionals. But we have to have oversight of that. We have to be hand in hand with the company that's developing it, because I think it's that big of a deal, and it's going to be that much of a draw into our town.
I'm glad you brought up just sewer system, because it brings me to infrastructure. There's a pocket of Amherst where residents have been dealing with some sewage issues in their garages or in their basements. What needs to be done to deal with this? Because I remember before there was a time where, you know, it was almost like a wasteland, or people were concerned about the runoff. Is there something that needs to be done in that department, or to up the infrastructure and the sewage system?
Yeah, so
the sewer system.
That's a good question, and it's something not a lot of people talk about, because nobody thinks about all the pipes that are doing all the work and the heavy lifting underneath the ground day in and day out. And those pipes are from the 50s and the 60s, you know, and Amherst didn't have the population and we do now. So we have to be strategic about what we're fixing, right? The things that are most valuable, that are most used, need to get fixed first. But the town of Amherst right now, actually visited the site earlier today, is doing the West Side Interceptor, which is a $30 million project to advance our sewer infrastructure, because, you know, we have grown as a population. Amherst is a great place to be. People know that. They want to be there. So we are leaning into that investment, and we hope to be breaking ground by the spring.
That's big for people.
It's huge.
Because that goes to just their livelihood when they have to pay out of pocket for problems that are happening in there. So they should feel that things are on the up, that things will improve if you are elected?
Well, I would like to think they're improving now, and I'm currently elected. So we need to just keep that momentum going and invest. We have to invest in ourselves. That's where we really stride, because when you're investing in yourself with sewers, with roads, public safety, you know, that's what people see. That's what they know, and that's what they relate to.
Under your administration, when we talk about public safety, crime is up everywhere. The city obviously sees it.
Yeah.
The suburban towns, Amherst is seeing it, especially with the car break-ins and some of the home break-ins. What more is needed? Do you believe that more police are needed in the town of Amherst? Should you all be hiring more police?
So hiring police is a big challenge. Not that we don't want to do that, but the civil service requirements and the PT testing that goes behind those hirings and the screening process is high. We want a high caliber people to participate in the Amherst Police. At the same time, we have leaned into community policing. So in Eggertsville, on the Bailey Training Center, Amherst Police Training Center, we have community events in which we bring members of the community and we teach classes, and we have Halloween, and we have an Easter celebration for people, and we have trainings for local PDs. So it's all about kind of building that collaborative community effort that I think is helpful.
Yeah, and that's great, but it still comes down to, if something happens, I want that trained police officer, and I think that's what some of the residents are saying. So should there be more cops on the beat
I mean,
in the department?
I would argue there should probably be, there's a equation that talks about officers per population. We need to be at that equation, right? So if that requires getting people through the academy and into our ranks, that's exactly what we want to do.
I want to piggyback to development. That whole Westwood Country Club site.
Yeah.
The sale of it for $1 to Erie County.
Yeah.
Some loved it, some hated it. Your opponent was against it.
Sure.
Why was that a good move?
Well, it's an investment, right? It's an investment in our kids. It's an investment in our grandkids. And it's an investment for people I'll never meet. That 170 acres was purchased 12 years ago. And residents surrounding that area said, we do not want a massive infrastructure build here. We want this to remain green. We bought our house in the back of a golf course for that reason. And they told us very clearly in 2017, please make it a park. And we ran on that campaign to make it a park. And we did that in 2019 and 2021. Now here we are. We're putting that position in place, putting it to be a park. It's an investment in our future. And I'm ecstatic that we could finally bring this to a solution, because that fence has been up for 12 years. And in 10 years, nobody's going to care. They're going to be happy to be participating, taking walks, throwing a Frisbee, golfing 9 holes. And that's what's important.
But is it better for the county to run it as opposed to the town?
Well, the county has the ranger programs, they have the infrastructure, they have the team already needed to do that. So I would argue, yes, the town could do it, but it's been too long, and that fence has been up way too long for the residents to enjoy that parcel. So we need to get it moving, and we need to expedite it, and the county's great at that.
If someone doesn't know you and they are ready to vote,
yeah,
what stands out on your platform that you think they should know?
I mean, I think my platform, it really indicates my level of service to this community and this country, right? That's what I'm committed to. It's making a difference. I deliberately put myself in these situations because I'm confident in what I can deliver for whenever I'm tasked. So that's what makes me different than other people who might be running.
Yeah, and that's my final question. What distinguishes you from Mr. Gagliardo?
Yeah, so as I said, I have the experience I think is necessary, right? In a leadership role, you own the space you're in, right? And you take decisions for better or worse. And those popular decisions and the right decisions are not always the same. And that's what you're going to learn in a leadership position. So making the right decision, because our focus is not always on tomorrow, it's on 10 years from tomorrow, and it's about investing in our future. And I think we're on the right path in Amherst. We've seen that. Amherst is the place to be, and we're going to continue on that path, and I hope to do that.
What will Amherst look like in 4 years?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I think we're still going to see our population grow. I would love to live in a world in which the Boulevard Mall is showing real life, because I think that's, nothing drives me more crazy than going past that and seeing it just be kind of this empty parking lot. But we need to show that we're moving in the right direction. I think that's what's important.
Sean Levin, thank you so much for coming on, talking about your platform and some of the issues that the people who will be going to vote want to hear.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Thank you. As mentioned, there are 2 candidates, and both men were asked similar questions. Dan Gagliardo is joining me in studio, and Dan, you are the Republican candidate for Amherst Town Supervisor. You're also on another line, too.
I have the conservative line as well.
You are a businessman. That's what people know you for, but now you're ready to enter that political realm. Why enter politics at this particular time in your life?
It's actually the perfect time for me. I've had the ability to work in government early on in my career. I've worked for corporate America. I own Devolio, and it's the perfect time because in my business, for the last year and a half, I haven't been running the business. My wife, my children, and my managers have been doing it. They actually bought me golf clubs so I could go golf more to kind of like push me out even further.
Running for the top job in Amherst as supervisor means that you won't be golfing for sure.
That's for sure.
What makes you qualify, though?
Well, I have a master's in public administration. I've worked in various professions, as I said, government, corporate America, small business. And in all of those businesses and everything I've ever done, it's always been about consensus building. And this is what we're lacking here in Amherst. The idea that we have to get everybody involved with this. And I'm going to give you an analogy. In my restaurants, or in any business that you ever go to, the salon or the bowling alley or wherever you go, nobody ever asks you what your party affiliation is. They need you all. Like in my restaurant, I need Democrats, Republicans, I need everybody. That's how we have to run government. And unfortunately, what's happened in this landscape is it's always us against them. And I don't believe we do that today. And I believe that my experience throughout my entire career has been about just that. And I think that that's what we need most of all.
You have never held an elected office, correct?
No.
Do you think that is an advantage for you or a disadvantage?
Advantage. Going through this primary has made me astute as to what politics is kind of about. Unfortunately, it's, as I just told you, it's not always common sense. It doesn't have the thought process that they should, and I think that we need to make it simple. So I am responsible for thousands of dollars in budgets, and I've done all those things. I understand what it takes in order for us to go to the next level, to be successful in the things that we do. The bottom line here is most of the people, my opponents and stuff, they're career politicians. They don't understand, or they're career county people, they don't understand what the real world and what that means. And we could see it in some of the things that they've done over the last 8 years.
Real world for people in Amherst and just everywhere is taxes. And we saw in the town of Amherst when there was that outcry, people did not want the taxes to go up. As supervisor, would you do anything to lower the taxes? Can you lower the taxes?
I have a 10-5-0 plan, 10% cut in expenses, 5% reduction in taxes, and 0% in unnecessary spending, bonding. I want to say our taxes went up 40% in 8 years. It's too much, but it's because of our debt load. It's because of the things that we've done. We could talk about Westwood, and big projects that we try to get involved with. Amherst Central Park, which Westwood was part of. We spent $27 million on this. These are things that we cannot do. Our job and our responsibility is very clear. We are there for the residents. We don't spend two when we make one. And we need to make sure that we're prioritizing the things that we do. And we're making sure that we're very honest with the people about what we do. You and I were just talking about this a little bit. We need to give information to people. That's our job. We need to tell them what we're doing, how we're doing, and why we're doing it. So there's less mistrust in our process because we're not afraid to give them the answers that they need.
That leads to transparency. That is a word that we hear often thrown around sometimes now. It's a great word. It is a great concept. I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to have a transparent government. But it is not always followed. Can you guarantee the people of Amherst that if you are elected as town supervisor, that you will truly have a true, transparent government? As I just said, for me, I'm going to have our own station. We're going to have our own YouTube station. We're going to have podcasts. We're going to redo the website. We're going to make sure that people are getting information. And I'll give you an example. There have been some crimes in Amherst, stolen cars. Instead of waiting for the B to come out, and we know that a week later that a car was stolen on a particular street, you're going to know every day what's going on. We're going to make sure that people understand clearly and get out information about all that we do. If we don't have anything to hide, we should be getting that information out all the time. You brought up crime, the stolen cars, that's happening everywhere. For so many years, however, Amherst was known as the safest city and/or town in America. For several years it had that, and then it was in the top 5. I'm not quite sure where it stands right now, but crime has reared its ugly head in the town of Amherst. And so I think the people want to know what's going to be done. It's one thing to tell people there are stolen cars and so many stolen cars on this street or in this particular neighborhood, but under the Gagliardo administration, what would be done to deal with crime? Do you need more police? Do you need more of them on the beat, on the streets? What can happen? First, yes, we need more police. We also need to update our computer systems in the car. Now with AI and some of the systems that are out there, if we get that into the cars, they spend 2 to 3 hours each time they book somebody. If we can minimize that, get them the most current software and computers out there, that will help. But most importantly is we have to engage the public.
They have to become part of this change that we need. They've got to be involved. Neighborhood groups, auxiliary police, things like that. We've got to get people involved, because the reason why we are and could be the safest city again is because everybody's engaged. Everybody believes in it. Everybody wants to see this happening. Today, there's no central focus. It's not being done. The police are working so hard. They're doing everything they possibly can. It's our job to get that out, to bring those people together and build that consensus that I'm talking about.
And ensure transparency and accountability, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
Speaking to. Another issue in the town, I've talked to some residents, they're having some sewage issues in certain parts of the town. What needs to be done? And I don't know how it's gotten to this point where one resident told me, I'm ready to sell this house because I just had to clear everything out of my basement. What's going on?
Basically, we have to prioritize what we're doing in the town. We have to work with the highway department. We need to prioritize it. We need to let people know what's going on. We cannot spend money foolishly on $27 million on a conceptual plan. We don't go buy $34 million in lights. We don't go build things that we don't need. We take that money, we find out the priority, and we address it, and we hit it hard. But we have to have open communication with the highway department to let them know this must be done. And another thing, this information that we're talking about, we need to broadcast that on this channel. We need to let people know we're going to be in your area. These are the things that are coming up. We need to hear the residents. We need to do two things, Claudine. What we need to do is we need to get a citizen advisory board, help me with government, professionals, CPAs, business people, and they will help us with the day-to-day stuff, making sure that we're doing things that are going to keep us efficient. Secondly, we have to get a citizens group that are out there, that for each of the areas, use them, let them know the problems that are having, make sure that they can get questions to us that are being answered, make sure that they can pose questions, and we give them those answers at town board meetings. It's all about getting information and being able to do this in such a way where they know that we're answering those questions.
You're talking about definitely a new look in town hall development. I know that you have been so outspoken. That $1 sale of the former Westwood Country Club, it angered you.
And I want to tell you why. In April of 2025, when they had that press conference, they said it. My problem with what's happened since then, we didn't have the ability to do anything until August 18th. So months went by. I gave them a proposal from Nicholas Design for free. They should have went out and they should have found out if there was anybody that wanted to buy that piece of property, make it a golf course. Remember, I'm the one who asked for a referendum to keep it forever green, forever wild. So I was angered. And now I filed this Article 78 because they didn't follow procedures. They recused themselves at the last vote. I think that there's a problem with that situation. And I'm fighting because we spent $7.8 million on a park to do something, and we got $1 back. And they may tell you that this is a partnership between the county and the town. It's not. We're getting double billed. We paid for it. We're going to be paying for it for 23 years. And we're still going to get county taxes are still going to go up because we have to maintain it. We have to find out first if we want this to be if we can get somebody in there and make it taxable. If not, we should look at it to be our golf course.
It is moving forward, though.
Well, right now there's an Article 78, so hopefully we're stopping it.
And you don't think the county would do a better job than the town?
No. Remember this. Let's assume for 1 minute we don't find somebody to buy it. Let's assume we take it over. We put the money in to make that our golf course, and we sell Autobahn. This was the original concept. Autobahn's a better place to build a park, to have more access, and this should stay a golf course. And we don't manage our own golf course right now. We hire somebody else, and we make $400,000 a year in profit. Why can't we do the exact same thing?
Sticking with development, the Amherst IDA approved $3.9 million for that, or tax breaks rather, for developer Paul Bliss. That did not sit well with you in the beginning. Because
here's what happened. They authorized, I went there, and we found out their attorney had posed his application. We had questions, and I questioned him. I sent a letter, and then I got a call from the attorney and wanted me to meet with Paul Bliss. We had a great conversation. They explained everything to me. I went there the next day. I said, Mr. Bliss has adhered to everything that you're requesting of them. Obviously, he's followed your rules and regulations. My problem is with the AIDA. Why are we giving tax breaks to projects like this? The AIDA was made for bringing jobs, industrial things. That's what it was here for. Now all of a sudden we're doing these retail projects with apartments and things like that. I question that we're giving these types of tax incentives when we're trying to build our tax base. That is my issue.
Development also means Costco is coming to the town of Amherst. Station 12 is moving forward. Is that showing that Amherst is looking up? Are you happy with how that's going?
Let me give you, I'll talk to you about 3 things. Let's take Station 12. Excited that there's 12 people that want to come in. Here's my problem with that. Well, not actually a problem. I think we have to keep our eye on the ball. It's a year away. I haven't seen any leases. I've seen nothing of timelines. And I can only attribute it to, let's say Benderson is building Trader Joe's on Transit. It happened in 4 months. I'd like to know why. I hope this is not election hype, and I hope they come through with it. Let's take Benderson. Let's take Boulevard Mall. I'm excited that Benderson is doing it. But they were the natural people to buy it because they were partners with Jamal anyways in the property. I'm glad. Benderson's a big house. They know what they're doing. I know it'll come out good. The point is, this administration drove Doug Jamal out after 6 years of eminent domain and all these things that they did. So they didn't do the right thing.
Have you had any conversations with Doug Jamal?
I have.
What has he told you?
He told me that when he bought that property, this administration approached him with these grand ideas, and then they couldn't come through with it. So he was waiting to do this. And now he falls on hard times. And now they kicked him out. They kicked him to the curb. Thank God Benderson was there to pick up the pieces to make this thing right. So here's my point about development. We're not developers. What we are is representatives of the residents, and to make sure that our infrastructure is well done, that we get what we need, and we involve the citizenry so we're not making this thing difficult. Information, Claudine, getting out there, telling people what's happening right from the beginning. What ends up happening is then there's no questions.
On your website, you talked about essential services and plan to restore staffing levels. Won't that add more to the budget? Because I know you're talking about making sure that things are done right, but adding more jobs, how does that hurt the budget?
Well, I think in reality, we need more people in the police. We've talked about that. Mm-hmm. We need some more people in the highway department. But I'm hoping through retirements, and I think that we can cut enough out of the administrative budgets that we could save money to go forward. And we have to have, for instance, we need a central purchasing department. We need a central purchasing department so everybody is under the same lockstep, that we're doing the right thing, so we can look at that. We can look at the contractors that we're using to make sure that we're having good qualified bidders coming in and doing all that. But we have to take it line by line, see where we're going. We have to look at the exempt positions that are out there. We've added 20 new exempt positions in the last 8 years. Why? Do we have duplication of services? That's the stuff that we need to do. I'm not talking about the highway, police. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is how many people have we had since 2018 to 2025? We've expanded in areas where we can look at, but it's all across the board. We have to be efficient and we have to go line by line. And I am confident that we'll have enough money to do everything that we're trying to do.
Final question, what distinguishes you from your challenger?
I think my past. I've lived out there. I've worked for government. I understand that. I've worked for corporate America. I've worked for small business. It's very important that you're well-rounded. And the idea here is that I've always built consensus. That's the secret. It doesn't matter what affiliation you are. What matters most is that can you bring everybody to the table and be able to make this thing work? And I've done that my entire career.
So the choice is yours. Early voting is starting soon. Election day is in November. We will have all of the results for you right here on WGRZ+.